Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Reaper Golf Videos, aka the eccentric Countess. This is Reaper here, and we are here with part 3 with the final hairstyling video for this wig. As you can see, we've been busy. We were going to wait till we got some hair stiffener. I mean, not hair stiffener. Some freeze frizz spray. But we couldn't wait. We decided we wanted to try an experiment to see if we can get away without doing that. And we were successful. As you can see, we have half the wig done. We did this off camera, but we're going to do the final bits on camera for you guys. When I say final bits, I mean like, you know, what we have. Because the one thing that we want to do to finish this wig off is, you know, give it a powdered texture. Because, you know, this is brown, but it's not the Countess's dark brown. So what we're going to do is, what I did to kind of get those barrel curls is I back combed everything. I just got to make sure I have everything, and I just back combed, and I just worked my way up. This thickens the hair. This thickens the strands of it, because as you can see, there's going to be some thin ones and some super thin ones. So this kind of thickens it up a little. And then we just, you know, climb up a little. And then we just keep on and we keep on and we keep on till we got where we want. Then we just run our hands through the hair, and then basically what we want to do is we want to find the tip, slowly roll that, and then from there work our way down, see how it turned out, and if it's not to our liking, we just back comb it some more. And then just once again roll it as best as we can. You want to get a little bit of a sausage. Now with 2 pins, you want to pin it down. So get one side from the back, starting with the back or the front, and then the other. Then you can just, you know, very carefully kind of booch it up, kind of match it with the other one. That's why we did the other, reason why we did the other side, is we wanted something to line up with. You know, we needed a model. And then you just take your finger and you kind of, you know, make that hollow curl. And then with a little bit of spray, of course, this is unfortunately not antifreeze spray. This is just firm hold. You spray. There. So we're going to just do that again. We're going to do that 3 more times. You want to make sure you get all the hair. Any long flyaways, it's going to ruin the whole thing, and you have to start all over. Go. And then if you feel like it, go ahead, pre-spray a little bit if you want, just to kind of, you know, wet the hair. And then find the tip and just roll it as best as you can. It doesn't have to be pretty in the beginning, but then when it gets to the part where stuff is starting to see, You really need to make sure it looks good. Alright. There we go. Make sure, and here's the thing, if you're like me and you forget to grab something to prepare, if there's a clip or anything, clip it. And grab as many bobby pins as you want. We're going to grab a few, so that's probably a good bit. Now, we're going to just repeat what we did last time, and as you can see, it's slowly starting to kind of unroll a little bit, but that's fine. There you go. There we go. Let me move my phone out of the way. We don't need, well, we'll need that. But as we remove the pins, well, not the pins, the duck clips, we'll just toss them in there. Then a quick sprint. There you go. And then kind of look at it to see if it works. With the other side, there you go. And we also did the other back, so let me tell you a little bit of what we did with the back. We put pins here to kind of train it, and then what we did with the back is we put some bobby pins under here to keep it nice and straight. Then we just took the hair from the back and just rolled it this way. We rolled it like this, we rolled it this way, and then tucked it in. And then we just pinned it down. We did another layer of underpinning here, a little bit of overpinning here. That's what we did off camera with that monstrosity of a mess. Now, here's where the hair is a little bit thinner. And like I said, you want to try to make sure it all matches. So we have 4 rolls on one side, we have to make sure we have 4 rolls on the other. Alright. And then once again. And there you go, it's thickened up. Then carefully. A little bit of this spray. Okay, and we got that one down. Just a little spray. And just like the previous, we just want to, because like I said, we want to make sure that this texture right here, this whole, this whole texture that we made, we want it to match the, we want this texture to match this texture. So it all looks natural. Okay. And then you want to make sure it all matches. Like this side looks small than this other side, so what you want to do is you kind of want to probably tuck more of the hair in if you can. And if you have more bobby pins, that also helps. There you go. Little spray up here. Little spray there. And as you can see, we did not trim this section yet like we said we would, because this is the same day, you guys. This is the same day. So we are going to kind of tease it a bit, play with it, and then let me go get the scissors. So here we are. So what we're just doing is we're just air gliding, cutting away the loose bits. There. As you can see, there's some more. So we just want to, there you go. So this is going to be one of those styles that, you know, once it's styled, it's going to stay in this style. So the next thing we're going to do with this experiment is, as you can see, we're taking little bites. We are going to try Gorilla Glue. Now here's the thing, for those of you, you know, for those of you who did not hear the story, there was a lady who used, I don't know if she did it on purpose or if she did it by accident, but she was I think she was getting ready to go to an event or something, and she needed to get her hair done, and the only thing that was around was a Gorilla Glue. So she's like, oh well, what the hell, it's going to stick. And I guess she assumed it was going to wash out later. It did not wash out later. She had to go to the hospital. And ever since, some drag queens have been using that Gorilla Glue spray or something close to it to cement down their wigs, so the wig stays in place. And they use a light shade. You know, they spray from a distance, where so when it dries, it won't, like, you know, it won't look like somebody just plopped bird poo on their head or something. So I think that's what we're going to try to do. And then, but we may not have to do that, because we're going to get some white acrylic, well, not white acrylic, white fabric spray, or dark brown spray if they have it in dark brown. And we're just going to give it just a little bit of a spritz. But yeah, here it is. This is what we have. And then, once again, let's go back to the photo of the model. Let's see. So there's profile view. As you can see, 3 sausage rolls and that are going like perfectly around the head, and then you have one that's going in a different direction in the back. Same thing here. 1 sausage roll going in the back, while the other ones are in another direction. Really twisted teased bang frizz, really teased frizzy bang bits. that are more with ours. It's a little bit more tucked in instead of yeah, it's more tucked in instead of free. But let's see. This just needs to be kind of tightened up a bit. I just noticed it's not fully even, lined up evenly. Alright, there. Let's see. There we go. Now it looks even. So yeah, here is our hairstyle, and then, you know, here's the front. I forgot to show the front. See, where is that? Hold on, give me a minute. There it is. So front. Our front, like I said, it's a little different. We may even kind of pick it a little to kind of give that look of free frizz and not like rolled frizz. There we go. See, it's starting to look a little bit better after you kind of pick at it a little. There we go. Now, a little bit of a tester. Now, we may not have what we want for the powder substance, but, well, for the permanent powder, but we do have this. And, yeah, it's not giving us what we want. Well, it is kind of on the verge of giving us what we want, but it would be a process. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do one side. But basically what they would do is they would just do clumps of powder. There. And as you can see, you can kind of see a little bit of a difference. But we want a dramatic look, so we're going to wait. We are going to wait. And then what you want to do is just, you know, if you don't want the hair, you just powder, you just pat it slightly. We didn't get that far in the process, so it's still there, but like I said, we are going to and as you can see, we can just wet it and it goes away. But as I said, we're going to be experimenting because this wig is an experiment, and it's one of my favorite brands of wigs. It's Vintage Allura, which is very hard to find, and I love that it has a skin texture at the top. Unfortunately, this one does not have a false hairline, so we had to make one, but that's fine. And these vintage wigs are so easy to work with, depending on how good of condition they are. And there's a person that's selling a good bit of them, so I plan to get more. He doesn't have that many in brown and brunettes, but we're going to try to buy out as many as the brunettes and dark black brown ones as we can for the Countess. I think we want one more to have a variety of Rococo, because I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to basically go into from 16th century to the Rococo era of the Countess. So yes, so this is the final result. And let me see, first thing, the final thing we need to do is to remove these bits here. Alright, Got a notification. There. You would never know that this was not a full... You would think that this was not... Like, this is where the nape is. The nape is right here, but you would never know that this is not the actual nape. Now, are we going to try this on now? Unfortunately, no, because like I said, this hair is not cemented down. And it needs to be cemented down, so it literally has a good bit of hairspray in it, but not strong enough to where it would survive the ordeals that we're going to be putting it through. It is pinned, so we do have to remove the pins. So let's just find the pins. What I mean by pins, I mean these guys. This is what held the wig down while we brushed it. So that's another thing. We don't want to pin ourselves. We'll prick ourselves, I should say. Look, there's one already buried in the sausage roll that we made. Oh, and there's another one. Yeah, when I work on these wigs, I make sure these wigs are pinned down. And then when I get it all styled and ready, it's like you have to make sure. So that's another thing. We want to make sure that this wig... Oh, careful. Be very careful with this hair. It's doing a good job, but also we cannot pull at this nape yet, because as you can see, it's already slightly separating. We do not want to touch this hair with a blow dryer again, because we want to try to make sure that this texture of hair stays in place. Otherwise, it will just be too obvious. So we want to try to find that natural nape and pull it that way. And then once we get the Gorilla Glue, everything should be fine. And these are sacrificial pins. These guys, bobby pins, whatever you call them. There's so many names for them. Every time when I think I have their name right, somebody says, "Hey, Matt, that ain't right." God, people gatekeep everything these days, so I'm just going to call them hairpins. And if no one doesn't like that, well, they can keep their opinion to themselves. But, yeah. Here we go. This is our new wig for the Countess. And we will be coming back to this in the future when we have the stuff to do the final bits. But this is basically the full video of wig styling. The next wig chapter will probably be a new one with this wig probably, and it will be dabbling with the Gorilla Glue experiment and the false powdering. So wish me luck on that. But other than that, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit that bell for more, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.